G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website kangaroocourtofaustralia.com. Now, Ben Roberts-Smith, who a defamation court found was a war criminal a couple of months ago, has been back in court yesterday, and I think he's back in court this morning as well, for preliminary arguments in relation to a hearing later this month, where he's going to try and keep some of those records from the defamation hearing private. War crimes investigators are trying to get hold of some of the documents. They were suppressed during the course of the defamation proceedings. There were some hearing days that were in camera that the public didn't get to see, and war crimes investigators are trying to get hold of some of those documents. And it's one of those cases, a domino effect from Ben Roberts-Smith defamation case. In hindsight, he'd be wishing that he'd never instituted defamation proceedings, but it's too late now. And let's have a look at some of the reporting from yesterday. Now, the war crimes investigators trying to get hold of those documents are from the Office of the Special Investigator. Now, that was set up about 12-18 months ago because there was a 4-year inquiry conducted by former judge or current judge, Major General Paul Brereton, from 2016 to November 2020. Now, the 4-year IGADF inquiry conducted by Major General Paul Brereton examined allegations of war crimes and other misconduct by Australian Special Forces in Afghanistan. It produced the Brereton report, which found credible evidence to support allegations that 39 Afghan civilians were unlawfully killed by Australian Special Forces soldiers. So the government set up the previous government under Scott Morrison set up the Office of the Special Investigator. And it says on their website, the Office of the Special Investigator is responsible for addressing potential criminal matters raised by the Inspector General of the Australian Defence Forces Afghan Inquiry Report, which is a Brereton report. Now, I have no doubt the Office of the Special Investigator was set up to actually cover up the war crimes, and one of my key reasons for believing that is they appointed a Victorian judge, Mark Weinberg, as a Special Investigator's role, and he's as dodgy as they get, and I've written about that before. And it says on their website, the Special Investigator's website, the Special Investigator's role is to review the findings of the Afghan report, undertake investigations where required, and refer briefs of evidence to the Commonwealth Director of Public Prosecutions where appropriate. Well, I have no doubt Mark Weinberg is going to sweep it all under the carpet. He's a judge or former judge, and he knows what evidence he needs to sweep under the carpet to make sure there never is any criminal charges. And I published an article in April 2021 when he was appointed. The title of the article is Mark Weinberg QC, the corrupt former judge appointed by Scott Morrison to cover up Australia's alleged war crimes. Now, further evidence to support my allegations is the fact they've been investigating for 2 years and they've charged one person. And that's only because, I believe it's only because that person was filmed on national TV on the ABC shooting an unarmed Afghan. So they had no real choice but to charge him because there's video evidence in public. But in relation to the other 38 alleged war crimes, no one's ever been charged yet after 2 years. Yet the whistleblower, David McBride, he's been charged and he's facing trial in a couple of months, I think October 2023, only a month away. Now, the documents that Ben Roberts-Smith wants to conceal is stated as those that include thousands of classified documents and photographs, identities of anonymised SAS witnesses, and transcripts of evidence given in the closed court session of the trial, the defamation trial that is, including by Ben Roberts-Smith. So Ben Roberts-Smith doesn't want the Office of the Special Investigator to have access to those documents that came out during the course of the defamation trial. So even though I have no doubt the Office of the Special Investigator is there to cover up war crimes, well, I could be wrong, and maybe Ben Roberts-Smith obviously is a worried man. He doesn't want the Special Investigator to have access, or their office to have access to those documents from the defamation trial. So not only has the defamation trial exposed Ben Roberts-Smith as a war criminal, which media all around the world have reported on, it's also potentially going to lead to him having to declare bankruptcy, and evidence that came out potentially could be used against him to have him charged with murder, or war crimes at least. And some of those war crimes include murder. The Ben Roberts-Smith matter's got a long way to go. He's got appeals next year, and he's also got that matter later this month where he's going to argue those documents shouldn't be handed over to the special prosecutor. And Kerry Stokes, I think that's later this month as well. He's fighting him and Channel 7 are fighting so they don't have to pay the costs in the defamation case, because Nine Entertainment, who was sued for defamation, they're claiming costs against Kerry Stokes and the 7 Network because they financed Ben Roberts-Smith defamation case. And there's estimates from 25 million to 30 million to 35 million total costs. So Kerry Stokes, who financed the matter and ultimately ran the case in the background, it's pretty sneaky like that. He financed and also ran the case. He was a major decision maker. He doesn't want to cough up any dollars, so he's fighting that. And because Kerry Stokes ran numerous slap lawsuits against me over an 8-year period, I'm in a position to know exactly what was going on, and I'll write about that in the future. Kangaroo Court of Australia's independent media. I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself, and I currently have 318 patrons donating $2,108 a month, and I really need to double it to become financially viable. So if you could support that, that'd be greatly appreciated. You can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month. Whatever suits your budget, it all helps out in a big way. And there'll be a link to the Patreon account below this video on YouTube and also on my website. And please share this video on Facebook and Twitter, etc. Thank you for your time and have a good day.